Do you have trouble losing body fat yet seem to gain it after even the smallest slip up with your diet? Or does it feel like you can eat for days without gaining an ounce? It could have something to do with your current body type, but is it really that simple? Let's explore the 3 body types more in depth. You have Endomorph, Ectomorph, and Mesomorph, and we will analyze how they relate to overall body composition so that you will know exactly what you should be eating and how you can be working out so that you can feel your best. First, let's talk about what is body type. So body type, also known as your somatype, refers to the idea that there are 3 generalized body compositions that people are predetermined to have. Let's break down the basis of each body type so you know what they look like. So number 1 is we have endomorph. Endomorphs are usually a stockier bone structure with a larger midsection and hips. They usually carry more fat throughout the body. They gain fat fast and they lose it slow. They usually will have a naturally slow metabolism. So these people have a hard time losing weight. It's just part of their body structure. It's not impossible, but it is more difficult. The next body type is mesomorph. So these people tend to have a medium bone structure with shoulders wider than the hips, and they have a really developed athletic muscular look. They're definitely efficient with their metabolism, and they can gain muscle pretty easily. They can also lose weight pretty easily too. So if they really try to gain or try to lose, their body is going to respond. Then you have ectomorphs, which is more of like the narrow shoulders, hips, and they have a very small muscular build. They usually have small bones. They have longer bone length. They naturally have a fast metabolism, so it makes it difficult for them to gain mass or like to gain muscle if they're trying. So it doesn't mean they can't, it's just a little harder for this group to gain muscle. It's important to know that you can actually be a mix of 2 body types. Usually you have one that you're dominant in, and then you can kind of lean into another. So for me, I'm a mesomorph, but I call myself a curvy mesomorph because I tend to have a little more curves than a traditional mesomorph body would. So just know that you can be a mix of 2. Diet and lifestyle habits will directly affect how much muscle we have or how much body fat we have. So it doesn't mean that an ectomorph won't be overweight because it really depends on your lifestyle. But no amount of exercise will transform a short-limbed person into a long-limbed person, right? Because those characteristics are just predetermined. Your bone structure is predetermined. So there are things that you can do to work with your current body types to be the best version of yourself, and that's what we'll go over a little later in the video. Let me give you an example of a few celebrities and their body types so that you can visualize what I'm talking about. So Marilyn Monroe and Jennifer Lopez are more of your endomorph body types. They're a little more curvier naturally, while Audrey Hepburn or Taylor Swift would be ectomorphs. They have that long, lean look. And then you'll have like a Halle Berry or a Jessica Biel who naturally have muscle. They're pretty evenly distributed on their fat, and they kind of look like athletes. That would be a mesomorph. So the body types are really just a starting point of what your body is, but there's a lot that you can do to work with your body. Let's talk about how to determine body type. So it might have been obvious to you right off the bat which body type category you fit into, but if it wasn't, there are a couple things that you can look back on and consider to try to see which one you are. Let's first look at your metabolism. So if you gain weight really quickly, like if you're just not paying attention to your diet and then all of a sudden you've gained 7 pounds in a few weeks, you might be an endomorph. It's really hard for you to lose weight and you can easily gain weight. But if you really can eat whatever you want and you don't gain any weight, you're probably an ectomorph. And if you make some change in your diet and you can lose weight and put on muscle pretty easily, you're probably a mesomorph. So I want you to think about your metabolism type and which category you fit in. The next thing we're going to look at is your frame size, and that's associated with your bone structure. So usually if you put your thumb and your middle finger around your wrist. If your finger is overlapping, you're probably an ectomorph because you have small bones. If your fingers just barely touch, you're probably a mesomorph. If they don't touch at all, you're probably an endomorph. You have a little bit bigger bone structure. The third thing we're gonna look at is your eating habits. So like I said before, if you eat what you like and you're still slender, you can eat whatever you want, you're probably the ectomorph. If you really have to watch your calorie intake in order to maintain your weight, then you're probably an endomorph. And if you keep a rough eye on what you eat, but you can really, fit treats in here or there and you're fine, you're probably a mesomorph. So I want you to think back. Here's the fourth step to help you determine your body type. What did you look like when you were a kid? So when you look at certain children, you can see they're long and skinny and they have long arms and long legs, or maybe they're stockier and they're more of an athletic look. And some children come out and they're a little more rounded features, and that's how they're predisposed. So what did you look like as a kid? And that will help you determine. Let's talk about what specifically to do for each body type. So if you're an endomorph, you actually do better with higher fat, lower carbs because you are insulin resistant. So those high carbs and the starchy carbs actually do more damage to you than they would to an ectomorph. Your bodies metabolize it differently. So just pay attention to that. Make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet as well. And then as far as strength training workouts, you do really well with circuit training, and you might need to add a little more cardio into your day than the ectomorph or the mesomorph because your body tends to store more fat. So even just doing like 30 minutes of low impact steady state cardio is going to really be beneficial for you. If you're a mesomorph, then your diet actually is pretty balanced between carbs, fats, and protein. You can handle a moderate amount of carbs and be completely fine. You're not going to gain weight, and you actually need it for your muscle mass. So with diet, it's just making sure that you have a really good balance of the three. And then with working out, you do really well with strength training and then moderate cardio. You don't want to go too crazy or you'll lose your muscle, but you don't really need a lot of amounts of cardio, which is nice. You'll be able to keep that muscle mass naturally because of your body makeup. If you are an ectomorph, you actually can handle a lot more carbs than the other two body types. So you can have up to 50% of your macros be carbs and be completely fine, and you won't gain weight, which is really nice. Just try to make sure that they're complex carbs. And as far as working out, you're going to want to do more cardio because you're good at it. So this body type usually is like a marathon runner or a triathlete. They're really good at long distance. But if you want to change your body and gain more muscle, you're going to have to eat a little more, and you're going to have to do strength training. Ease up on the cardio because your body will burn right through that muscle the second you get it. So if you're really trying to build muscle, I want you to ease up on the cardio and lift as heavy as you can. Now that you know all three body types, you can do a little self-check and see which one you are so that you can help your body work for you instead of against you. If you're still unsure of what body type you are, you can always check out my video walking you through how to do your specific body type quiz. I'm BodyByBree. Thank you for joining me to create the healthiest, happiest version of yourself. I'll see you back here next time.